I flew in last night from Chicago to LA, and I um, went to check in. I was checking in on the terminal, on one of those standalone terminals in the building, like a kiosk. That's the word, and I saw that I have a middle seat. Middle seats do not float my boat. Middle seats feel like a straitjacket because you cannot lean into one person, you cannot lean into the other person. And yes, I was flying economy. And so that's why the middle seat. And so I, I um, love window seats. Window seats are my favorite because I can lean into the window, I can listen to whatever I'm listening, I can be in my own little bubble, I can forget the whole world. And also, I have trained myself to sleep on flights like you won't believe it. Literally, before the flight even leaves the gate, like the airplane has not even pulled away from the gate, I'm already asleep. And I can sleep all the way till the plane lands in the other place, wherever I'm going. And I've trained myself to do that by simply affirming and repeating to myself that that's what I do, that I'm falling asleep deeper and deeper, right? Simple, pure hypnosis. And so that's why I love window seats, because I'm in my own little bubble and it's such an isolated time. I hardly ever watch movies. It's not about, wasting time for me and the time passing by. For me, it's like magic. We get to do things. We get to read. We get to listen. We get to affirm what we want. Like, this is good. And so, I'm sitting in front of the kiosk. I'm like, middle seat, oh God. And I look at what other options I have. And for $25 more, I can buy another middle seat. And I'm like, okay, that's not much of an option. And so, of course, the desire for a window seat has been expressed, right? Because I am looking for a window seat. Nothing shows up, so I'm like, all right, I accept what is. It's 4.5 hours. I can make it work, right? I'll be all right. So I check in, and I get to my gate, and I'm reading this book, right? I'm reading this book. I am watching some videos of Joe Vitale talk about Ho'oponopono. I'm loving all of this. And in one of the videos, he's introducing Ho'oponopono, and he says how he, within a couple of weeks, a week or two of him learning about Ho'oponopono, no, he had already learned about it, but finding this man, Dr. Hugh Len, I learned how to say his name. He actually ended up being at a workshop with him, and how he had a UTI, a urinary tract infection, and he that night just lay there and he was doing Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And he woke up with the infection gone. And of course that caught his attention. And then he spoke of this. This is what caught my attention. He said how he started hearing stories from people doing Ho'oponopono. And he heard about a car dealer who was recognized for his high volume of sales, and how he's this car dealer. So this is about money, right? That's why it caught my attention. So this car dealer was recognized for all these sales. And of course, the question of how is he doing it? And his answer was, all I do is clean. All I do is clean. And I was like, how? Shit, right? My brain goes into how. Like, how do you excel in your sales, in your field, by just cleaning, right? And so I am sitting there, I'm deeply I'm deeply immersed in this whole thing. And throughout the entire time, as I'm watching, as I'm reading, I had quite a lot of time of sitting around, okay? Just even waiting to board the flight. I am watching, I'm reading, I'm pausing, and I'm constantly doing Ho'oponopono in my head. I'm constantly, right, because I have all this space to sit with my thoughts. So I am constantly sitting, pausing, thinking, doing it in my head. I'm thinking about things. I'm forgiving myself about things. I'm grateful for things, right? I'm all over the place, but it's very intense. I'm like crying. I am sitting. I'm grateful. It's all over the place in terms of intensity. And so I am sitting there, I'm clearing a lot of things, I'm super in the moment, and sure enough, now it's time to board my flight. I get to my seat, and the woman who is sitting at the window says to me in a very hopeful way, she says to me, do you mind switching seats so that I can be in the middle seat? So, because we're together, and she's pointing to the other person, and I'm like, I would love to, thank you. And so I sit down and I'm like, this whole miracle thing actually happens even without me working on it much. So the reason why I'm telling you this story is because of the conclusions I drew out of it. So even though I was not doing Ho'oponopono on the seat, right? I wasn't sitting there making it this big life goal to manifest a seat at the window. I already had quite a lot of love and expectation. That's why I was saying to you, the window seats are my thing. So it's already quite a lot of expectation in me. Right? It's love, it's strong emotional connection. It's a lot of expectation because, you know, I was gonna say I've grown up in window seats, but I have. Right? Like all the flights I've taken over the past lots of years, most of them have been window seats. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that energy and expectation is already within me. The divine already knows what I prefer. My soul already knows what I prefer. And so I also send a strong signal of the desire. I want a window seat. And then I was just willing to accept. I was willing to sit there and clear whatever gunk and stories was coming up in other areas of my life. And so the whole point of Ho'oponopono is that not only does it bring us to zero in terms of emotional intensity, but it brings us to a zero state of oneness with everything. The forgiveness part, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I know I'm saying this a millionth time, so hopefully it will land in an even newer way now, is to just clean the channel between me and my soul, between me and God, between me and the remembrance that I'm one with all, and all takes care of all.